Good morning, Rabbi Sai. We're holding up Tzadik Vav Amar by the Mishnah. Says the Mishnah, Chavite Kohen Gadol. You have these breads that a Kohen Gadol brings every single day. 6 in the morning, 6 in the evening. The way it works is that he would bring flour from his home, as in, I don't know, my button is not working. A larger kli, an isaret, and then he would divide it in half with a smaller kli. If I were to ask you right now, is there a difference between the larger kli and the smaller kli in terms of kedusha? So you guys probably wouldn't know, wouldn't remember. So the Mishnah actually tells us. So, what we're going to see here is as follows. Since the Chatzi Isarin Kli has Kedusha, only it has Kedusha, not the larger Kli. The larger Kli doesn't have Kedusha. So if you take a look at the Mishnah of Tzadik and the Beis, just throwing it out there, maybe out of order, but it says, Achas Shtei Alechem v'Achas Lechem Aponim, the 2 breads of Shavuos and the Lechem Aponim that we put on the Shulchan every week, Lishasan v'Arichasan Bachutz, you can do it outside of the chazarah. Now look at this Mishnah. Why? Why the difference? The answer is very simple. Because Shtei Alechem and Lechem Aponim we use the larger kli called the Isaret, and that doesn't have Kedusha. The Chavite Kohen Gadol we use the smaller kli that has Kedusha. Once it has Kedusha, the clock starts ticking, Isurim come into effect. What Isur? The Isur Yotzei, the Isur Lina, all these Isurim start coming into effect. So you can't take it out of the Beis HaMikdash. Therefore, if you use the smaller kli, so it can't be in your home. You can't do the smaller kli in your home because now you just gave it Kedusha and now it's in your home, which is outside the Beis HaMikdash. You're over and Yotzei on the spot. So therefore, Chavite Kohen Gadol Lishasim Arichazim Afiyasim B'Fnim. Let me just show you Rashi real quickly, then we'll show you a beautiful video. I'll understand it even better. It says Rashi. So what is the difference between the large kli and the small kli? That is the one that's Mashiach for Moshe Rabbeinu, put the oil, made it Kadosh. So why didn't they do the same thing to the larger one? Since it's used not only by the Kohen Gadol, by other people, by anybody that brings a mincha, he has to measure the Isaret. So you can bring it outside of a mistake. So that didn't have Kedusha. So that's why it explains us why the smaller one has Kedusha, larger one not. Now, these are the things that the Mishnah mentions. In the Mishnah we're going to see Lisha, the kneading of the Aricha, putting it into a form. Va'afiyasan is the baking. Then you have Tchina and Harkada. Tchina is to grind it. Harkada is to sift the flour. These are the 5 things. So some of them happen before the half a kli, the half a isarin. So they don't have the kedusha, and it's not a problem of yaitza, like grinding. You can grind outside of the Beis HaMikdash. You don't have to bring a grinder into the Beis HaMikdash because you didn't put it into the kli yet. So let's see the video. Aricha, Afia, and then you put 6 breads in the morning, 6 in the evening. Okay. So says the Mishnah, Chavite Kohen Gadol Lishasan, Marichasan, Vafiyasan B'Fnim. So Memela, the Aricha, the Lisha, the Afia, this is all post the Chatzi Sarin Kli. So it already has Kedusha, so you have to make sure it's inside the Beis HaMikdash. V'doichos is a Shabbos. So again, and why yesterday's daf, Shtei Alechem and Lechem Aponim, the Aricha and the Lisha could be outside because it's using the larger kli. Great. V'doichos is a Shabbos, it pushes off Shabbos. You could do all this stuff on Shabbos. Chinosan v'arkadasan ain't doichos a Shabbos. But grinding and sifting the flour you could do in a factory somewhere. It doesn't push off Shabbos. Klal Amar Rav Akiva, Kol Melacha Shev Shel Asois Erev Shabbos, ain't doichos a Shabbos. Any melacha that you could do before Shabbos, Like in Brit Milah, we have the same thing. You can bring the Yizema, you can bring the knife before Shabbos, so you do before Shabbos. And it doesn't Shabbos. You can't push off Shabbos because of that. But anything that you can't do before Shabbos, Deichas Shabbos. Kol ha-Menochos yesh bohem ma'aseh kli b'fnim. All Menochos, you have to do the different avodah of Lisha and Aricha inside a kli, inside the Beis HaMikdash, b'fnim. You do it with the kli inside the Beis HaMikdash. Ve'en bohem ma'aseh kli b'chutz, and you don't do these things outside of the Beis HaMikdash. The Lisha, the Aricha, the kneading, the forming of the bread. Shtei alechem, the two breads, arka shiva tfachim. Okay, so a tefach, the between Chaim Noah and Chazon Ish, is a tefach like 4 inches or 3 inches, 8 centimeters or 10 centimeters. I forgot, I put my tape measure, my American one, but I forgot to bring it. I have the Israeli one, 10 centimeters. This is 10 centimeters, like 4 inches. So we're going to go like with the Chazon Ish, 10. So 77, it says 7 tfachim, right? Shiva tfachim, like this. And Rochba arba tfachim. It's a suitcase, basically. It's the size of a suitcase. The problem is, here, we're going to get to that problem now, with the suitcase. Right over here, I should have done this one. It's a little easier on the flat part. Right over here, they put horns. How big are these horns? Arba etzbois. 4 fingers. Basically, almost a tefach. Lechem aponim. Arkoi asar tfachim. So lechem aponim is almost a meter, according to Chazon Ish. So now, it worked out Moridik. I'll tell you why. Check this out. So this is the suitcase, right? Not a problem. You get here, I need another 30, right? Here we go. Another 30. Here we go, another 30. Moridik. Lechem Apon, imagine this. Your Lechem Apon is this big, this wide, with the same, unbelievable. We're only going to see it's boys. Lechem Apon Markei Asar Tfachim V'Roch B'Chamisha Tfachim. Now, we have to remember this. The Gemara is going to talk about this. It's easy numbers, 5 by 10. It's double as long as it is wide. It's 10 tfachim long, according to Chazon Ish, a full meter, and 5 tfachim, a half a meter wide. Now, if we pause here, the shulchan was exactly that measurement, 5 by 10. So that means the bread fit exactly on the table. But the problem is, there was 2 stacks of breads. So what do? How did 2 stacks of bread fit? If the whole bread takes up the entire table, 5 by 10. It's keren shevet boys, 1 3/4 tfachim, massive keren, big corners on top. If you oimer shleitite zedad yahaz, I have a beautiful way to remember it. Zayin dalad dalad zedad. It's 7 by 4, and the tfachim, and the top keren is 2. It is 4 fingers. Zedad yahaz. Now, how in the world does this help us? So this is the famous review that says the tzach adash bachav. Zedad yahaz. Okay. Yahaz is 10 tfachim by 5 tfachim, yud hey, and zayin, the keren, is 7. Ben zoyma oimer, benosata al shulchan lechem panim lefanai tamid, lefanai, lechem panim shuloi panim. What is lechem panim? It should have faces. It shouldn't be like our bread today is a roundish kind of bread. It's a glob of dough. It should be faces. It should have walls. Like a lechem panim is square. Another pshat is pinim. It should have like angles. So it basically should have that keren on top. Okay? Hashulchan orkei asara v'roch boy chamisha. The shulchan is 10 tfachim long. V'roch boy chamisha, 5 tfachim wide. Lechem aponim orkei asara v'roch boy chamisha. Each bread is the same exact measurement, 10 by 5. So what do? You take the long way, the 10 tfachim, and put it on the short way, on the 5 tfachim. Noisen arkoi keneged roch b'shulchan. So you take the long bread and you put it on the short. So now you have a couple of tfachim extra on each side. How many total tefachim do we have extra? We have 5 total, and on each side we divide the 5 by 2. So it's 2.5 on each side. Again, it's 10 tefachim long, and you put it on the 5 tefachim width. So you're missing. It overhangs 5 tefachim. If you to do it on one side, it would be 5 tefachim. And now you break it up in 2, and you do it on 2.5 tefachim on this side, 2.5 tefachim on this side. Then what? Then you take it and you fold it up. You fold the bread up, so that the bottom of the bread is only 5 tefachim, and it sits on the width of the table 5 tefachim. So it comes out that you're 5 tefachim on the table. Rebbe Meir Yehuda argue on one thing. How much is a tefach? A nama. A nama either is 5 tefachim or 6 tefachim. So Rebbe Meir holds, it does say in the Torah how big the shulchan is. It says it should be an amma by 2 amma. But how many tefachim does an amma have? Rebbe Meir holds the amma has 6 tefachim. So 6 times 2 is 12. HaShulchan Aruch is 2 masar. And it's 1 amma wide. Amma wide is not 5 tefachim, it's 6 tefachim. V'rach v'shisha. Lechem upon him, but the lechem upon him is the same size according to Rebbe Meir. Arka asar v'rach v'chamisha. So now you put a 10 tefachim bread on a 6 tefachim table. So how many you have overlapping? 4. So you put 2 on each side. So you fold it up, 2 in each. It seems like, from the first Israel at least, that this you do already before you bake it. Now, the table is 12 tefachim long. The bread is 5 tefachim wide. 2 times 5 is 10. And you're on a 12 tefachim table, so you have 2 tefachim extra between the 2 stacks of bread. What do you do with those 2 tefachim? They should have a lot of nice wind, they ask. As we're going to see at the end of the sugya, or somewhere in the end, we're going to mention the story that we spoke about, that there was heat that came out of the bread a week later. It was one of the nisim in the Beis HaMikdash. So why do we need to be careful about the wind? And it was a nace, the whole thing. But at the end of the day, you have to act b'derech hateva and then expect a nace. And sometimes maybe Klal Yisrael wasn't zoich to the nace, different kufas in Klal Yisrael. Not true, as we had many times. Here, the bezichim, the 2 spoons of the levina were in between the bread on the bottom. That's why I need 2 tefachim, not for the ear. It says al. You should put the levina al on top of. If you're going to take the word al literally, so then Ephraim is going to be under Menashe. The Menashe is going to be sitting on top of them. It means, what does it mean? It means that they're going to be living next to, not on top of. So over here also, the levina is next to, not on top of. So these snifim we spoke about the other day, it looks something like, if I can find it, snifin. These walls, according to one shita, were wide walls. There were 4 of them, 2 for each stack of breads, and they kind of held the breads in place. Their heads split, and they would put on them each stack of bread got 2. They had 28 pipes, and they were cut in half. Arba, so they'll say 14, 28 divided by 2 is 14 to each side. But Arba, so they'll say if you have 6 breads and each bread got 3, so 3 times 6, or actually 3 times 12 is 36, but there's only 28 because the top ones didn't get, and we'll see in the Gemara. But anyways, here the kanim, he's putting in a kana. It's not 100% accurate. This is more AI because it seems like the kana is longer. It's already in place and it's already sticking out. Well, you get the idea. This is for later on. Here for this part, to do what he's doing in this picture, to put these kanim in place, you cannot do on Shabbos because that's binyan, and to take them out would be stira, so you can't do that on Shabbos. You do this Erev Shabbos. When the bread's already there, you remove the kanim, shell, shulchan, and you put it over here. Like in this picture, see on the bottom, the kanim are laying underneath the table. but to the length of the table, not to the width of the table. It could be it has to do with this last line. How do you place the? I don't have a great picture here, but this should do for us. This is the length of the Beis Hamikdash, the red arrow. You come in from the Mizrach and you're facing Ma'arav. The Kodesh HaKadoshim is in Ma'arav. So when you're placing the shulchan, the menorah, it should be on the line of the arrow, the red arrow. That's the direction they should be facing. So if we take a look at this picture, mamish shvach, but over here you have the shulchan. It's in the direction of the arrow towards between Mizrach and Ma'arav, not between north and south, Saf and Daram. Okay. Says the Gemara, Charles Rabbi, they asked Rabbi, Zuminayin, how do you know that the Lisha, the Aricha need a Kli? Omar Lahem, Arei Oimer, it says in the Pasuk, it's talking about Yecheskel, you got a Nevuah. It says this place right over here, you see the mouth tells them this is where they're going to cook the Asham, the Chatos. Yeah, because listen, Shom Yechonam is the Chatos of the Asham. How are you going to eat a Chatos and Asham? Chatos and Asham, the Kohen gets seated. Where do you cook it? You bring it home and cook it? You can't. Why can't you? Yoitze. Once you take it out, it's a big problem. Yoitze. So you have to cook it inside the Beis Hamikdash. Where are you cooking it? Inside a kli. So he says, after Yoifu was mincha, and also he sticks in right after the Chazos Hashem, the mincha, baking the mincha. So you don't take it outside. Mincha do midashim v'chatos. So it's a hekesh. The mincha is similar to Hashem v'chatos. Ma'ashim v'chatos tunim kli. Just like those chatas, you cook it in a pot. That's why I know you need a kli, and if you need a kli, it has to be done inside because it gives it kedusha. And once it gives it kedusha, you cannot take it outside. Says the Gemara. If the breads were 2.5 tfachim wider than the table, and you have to bend it upwards. So then each bread is going to be 2.5. Thank you. Each bread is going to be 2.5 tfachim tall. And memela, check it out. Here we go. Here's the 6 breads times 2.5 tfachim. 2.5. If you do part of the shemaz, this is how I do it. 2.5 plus 2.5 is 5 times 3 because there's 6 breads, right? 6 divided into 2 is 3. Yeah, 2.5 plus 2.5 is 5 times 3 is 15. So you have 15 tfachim height over here. Oh, now that even in Panovich we do it Aryeh's way because now it's 2. It's not a half. So 2 times 6 equals 12. That most people know. So what is going on here? Rabbi said, pause for a second. What is pshat? He's saying that the kedusha. The table gives kedusha. The table's on the bottom, that golden piece. Gives kedusha all the way up. 15 tfachim up, 12 tfachim up. Of course it gives kedusha. What is he coming to tell us? He's coming to tell us that if you take, let's say, a sack of flour and put it on top of those breads, you're going to become kaddish. Because the kedusha extends to that area up there. Ask the Gemara, how's your math? How's your math correct here? You're looking at the breads. Only the bread. He's telling each bread is 2 tfachim times 6. Each bread is 2.5 tfachim times 6. Even you got to 12. You forgot about the little pipes that go in between the breads. They also take up room. Says the Gemara, these pipes don't take up any room at all. They actually they rest inside the bread. You saw there's a little indentation in the bread. They're in the bread. Says the Gemara, it makes no sense what you're telling me. Why do you need these pipes at all? You need pipes to keep the air flowing. If they're completely indented in the bread, then the breads are laying on top of each other. There's no airflow. My time is shumi pushi lechem. So it's going to rot or whatever the word is. Mold. Thank you. The magbele purta, they extend slightly outside of the bread. Here the half of the thing. Both and both. Oh, look at this. This is a beauty. The Magale Purta, it sticks out a second. So it says, Purta. So it's not 15. It's 15 plus that little drop that extends. So you're right. We're not going to count that small amount that extends. Ask Gemara, What about the bezichin that lay on top of the bread? According to this man, the Omer that says it's on top of the bread, so now it extends more than 15 plus a spoon. They're inside. They didn't take up any room. They were on the bottom. And on top, so basically, yeah, they were inside. But what about the corners? You have these giant corners that are 7 fingers each by 7 fingers, or 4 by 4. 7 fingers is 1 3/4 tefachim. It's a pretty significant keren. Says Gemara, Kronis legavei the lechem kaifu. They would have to bend them inside, like this picture right over here. You have the corners, but they're bent inside. The lechem alayu nochle, and then you put breads on top of each other. The art scroll wonders if these corners are bent inwards, and they're 1 3/4 tefachim, but you also have the actual width of the bread, which is a tefach. So it bends. You can actually see right over here. You see that little square? But kitzer, it's 1 tefach plus 1 3/4 tefachim. Each side is 1 3/4 tefachim is just the corner, that piece by itself, plus the width of the bread. That's 2 3/4. 2 3/4 plus 2 3/4 is more. I don't know the math, but it's more than 5. 5.5. Oh, 5.5. 5.5. I know the math. It's 5.5, but it's more than 5. So in Mela, if you look in the art scroll, according to one pshat, he has a pshat that they go inwards. That's why he has these funny looking corners that go like this. First of all, what is Sfina Kedes? So you, Arya, you sent me a very nice picture, so I'm going to show that picture. This is a nice Sfina Kedes that's Chachapuri. According to Sfina Kedes, it's a balagan. I'm not going to get into it. But yes, they do stand, they're on an angle, and they come like this, different angles. The kids are, it's sipur. I'm not getting into the Sfina Kedes. Vo'ikom is gartoi. Oh, beautiful. I want to remind the Olam, Mizgarti Lamala is, you can see over here, there's a frame around the shulchan on top. Now, this frame is exactly in the 5 by 10. The bread is 5 by 10. It's 5. It cannot fit into this mizgeret. So it has to lay on top of the mizgeret. Even that little amount. You can't push around in the base of mizgeret. Everything's exact. So it has to be on this mizgeret. Now the mizgeret is this tall. So you got to count this plus. So it's not 15 tefachim. It's not 12. It's more. So here, something like this. There's that decorative thing on the bottom. That's the mizgeret. So the top of the table was completely flat. Now, even according to the Mando Omar, it says that they did have a mizgeret. How do you say mizgeret in English? A frame. On top, that you could answer parkude hava miparkido. Check this out. I think Yoshi did this one, but basically it tilts a little bit, like a guy leaning on a rocking chair, some sort of chair. He's a lazy boy laying backwards a little bit. So there's a little bit of an angle to that frame, and therefore the bread, which is exactly 5 tefachim, fits beautifully inside. And the bread was fit inside. Like we learned, Rabbi Yossi argues on this whole thing, on this whole picture right over here. He disagrees. He says we didn't have these walls, these snifim. It does say in the Torah snifim, so we have to understand what he meant. He says that the frame, this frame, and that's it. That's what held the bread in place. That didn't let it shift. I guess the weight of each bread weighed 10 pounds, right? 2 shroidim per thing. So we say today it's 2.5 kilos, so about 10 pounds of bread. So you have nice weight, each one on top of the other, and the mizgeres just didn't let it come out of place. So they told him, what are you talking about? You have to have a sneefing because the mizgeret went downward. Okay. If you have a piece of wood, a flat piece of wood, like this is not mekabel tuma. Why? Because pshutei kliyes. It's a simple piece of wood. If it has a frame like this, so it could contain something, so it becomes a kli, it's mekabel tuma. So now what do you do with the tabletop? Table is flat. L'chayra, it shouldn't be mekabel tuma. But on the other hand, it has something that that's very similar to a kli that has a base kibble, and that is a table. It's holding MDY Daf, tefillin, coffee, glass. It's massive. It has width. It has that itself should make it a kli. So says Rabbi Yochanan, can I prove it from the shulchan? The shulchan is mikabel tumah. Why? Why is the shulchan mikabel tumah? It's just a table. L'chayre, you see from here that even a flat table is mikabel tumah. Oh, so you're going to tell me, but the table had a mizgeres. So according to that Mandama, you're right. I don't have a great raya. But according to the Mandama, that the mizgeres was downwards, it was upside down, and this part was flat. L'chayre, I have a raya that a flat table is mikabel tumah because it's a table, because it has width. A table that I could flip over. It doesn't matter if I use it this way or that way. I guess in those days they had like these portable tables. So they have them today also. You know, you have these legs that go this way, and then you put just a piece of, like a TV dinner kind of thing. What are they called? Snack table. Okay, look up snack table. You'll find it. It goes like this. You put a piece of, but you can go this way or that way. It doesn't matter which way you put it. So exactly, that's what they used to bring, because it says they used to move the tables out of there by desserts. There's different gemaras that say, oh, the mufan of the table. I'm just reading Rashi here. Why is it not a pshutik li? Says Rashi, the ruchavi, it's very wide. The ruchavi base kibula, fine, great. So says the Gemara, but if you say that the frame was upwards, I'm not going to have a good raya from here. So you tell me that the shulchan of the Beis Hamikdash was mikabel tumah. I have a big problem. This bookcase right over here, made out of walnut, I think. Yeah, it's walnut. Is it mikabel tumah? No. Why? It's not moving. This one is different. This is mamish built in. Forget that. But maybe even this table right here doesn't move. Hasn't moved. This top, yes. The actual table, sometimes people try to push it a little. They try to get coffee, so they give it a shtickle push. Then it comes Krista Torah, you can't open up this thing. It wasn't designed 100%. But anyway, next thing finished. But there's certain things, like this table, maybe should not be mikabel tumah. Why? Because it's lenachas. It's just here to stay. It's not meant to be moved. Any piece of wood that's meant to be in one place is not mikabel tumah. My time, and how do I know this? Dumi the sack being, and it has to be similar to a sack. My sack without the malaregon, just like a sack. I learned tumah from a sack, and a sack is something that I could fill up, empty out, but I move it. It's movable. Metalto. I've called metalto malaregon. So to everything else has to be something that I can move, empty and full. Oh. So here comes the Gemara, the famous Gemara, Shulchan Nami, Metalta Moliverik, and you should know that the Shulchan used to be moved. Kiddush Lakish. Like Rish Lakish taught us, Tamar Lakish. Make sure that the Shulchan should be tar. What do you mean, make sure? Tar Meklal Dikatame. What? You can make it tame? El Melamed, yes, you could make it tame. Shemagbi and Oiseloyle, Regolim, Umarim, Boy Lechem, Oimlem. They used to raise it up and show all the people that came for Yontif. They would show them, look at this beautiful nest. It's one of the things that you got, the advantages of going to the Beis Hamikdash, you get to see this nest. Look how much HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves you. Kedivir B'Shua ben Levi. Domer B'Shua ben Levi. Neis Gotel Nasalam B'Lechem Aponim. There's a great miracle that happened with the Lechem Aponim. Siluka Kisidura, when they removed the bread on Shabbos, it was just like when they put it on Shabbos, like it says, if they baked it on Shabbos, there was heat coming out. Shneimar Losum Lechem Choim B'Yoyim Yilok Choy. V'Tevik Li Mishum Tzipui. Oh. Rabbi Isai, the tzipois, if you remember, in the beginning, I'm not going to show it again, but this guy, maybe while I'm saying the Gemara, I could show it again. So put it on low. So you have the covering of the shulchan made out of gold, and that is mikabel tumah l'chayra. So we have to know: does the table go by the wood underneath, or by the not the covering? What's the good word? The plating on top. The plating is mikabel tumah. Says if you have a shulchan adulbaki, you have a folding chair, shenitchatzu got broken, or shechipam b'shayish. Oh, so this also has a plating made out of marble. V'shir ben mokum Menochos koisos, and it's large enough to. Oh, did I miss the part where he knocks it and does it? Okay, so over there you can see that he puts in a couple of nails. I mentioned it before. So that was the Shiloh. It doesn't really make a difference. The Gemara says at the end. Okay. So you have a broken folding chair, but it has enough room to put some cups on it, to put your beer when you go to the beach. Like whatever people do with it. Oy. No. Tmein. Tame. Rabbi Yehuda Omer. Not good enough to put your beer can. You need a larger place to put your steak down for the barbecue. But akopanim shiur in loy shiur loy. It's only if you have enough space to put your cup. But if not. Why? Why is it not? Why is it not mikabel tum? Because the covering, the plating of the marble takes over, and the plating of marble is not mikabel tumah. So you see the plating, you have to consider the plating. And over here, it's plated with gold, and gold is Mikabel Tumah, so maybe that's why. Why are you telling me that they moved it? Who cares if they moved it? Even if Rish Lakish is wrong. They never moved it. It's Mikabel Tumah because it has gold. It's a gold kli, and gold is not wood. Gold is Mikabel Tumah. You'll tell me, oh no. There's an afkamina, the Shulchan has a covering that didn't use nails. And if it doesn't use nails, it's just, you pop it off, it's not considered a real gold plating. But this is exactly what Rish Lakish asked Rabbi Yochanan. Did the Shulchan have a plating that had nice nails? You couldn't remove it or not? As the Bazbazin over here in my Gemara it says the Bazbazov, but in Rashi it says the Bazbazin, and a lot of Gemara it says the Bazbazin. We'll say both readings. I don't know why they said lebizbizov. I don't know. It's the bizbizov. I know they did a lot of work to get the pronunciation correctly, but Rashi says for sure lebizbizin with a nun. Fine. What? Oh, it's the shita. Okay, fine. That's why. It's lebizbizov. So Rabbi Yochanan says, I don't care. It doesn't make a difference. It doesn't matter if he knocked it in with nails, with glue. Whether you covered the frame, you didn't. It goes by what you covered it with. And so therefore, if you covered it with gold, it should be Mekabel Tumah. Rabbi Isai, have a wonderful day. Have a good Shabbos.
Merit the zchus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shiur today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDYDaf.com.